If you want to learn Japanese faster, I'm about to explain exactly how to do it, because the truth is, if you struggle to see consistent progress, you're probably doing all the wrong things. Now, in under a year, I went from freezing after every word I said in Japanese to having hour-long conversations with natives in Tokyo, Osaka and Kyoto. I've made real Japanese friends, and I even got interviewed on a street in Shibuya fully in Japanese. And the secret is, I've actually spent hundreds of hours researching how language acquisition works and how to apply it to learning Japanese. So in this video I'll spill all the secrets. These are 5 lessons on how to get fluent in Japanese in months, not years. And these are the ideas that people like Madvest Japan, Ojiman or Ananya used to achieve a really high level in Japanese without even living in Japan. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future videos. But if you're serious about learning Japanese, check out the link in the description. It's my Japanese IQ program where I give you my personal help to achieve conversational fluency in Japanese as fast as possible. それでは早速始めていきます。So the first lesson that you need to understand to get fluent in Japanese in months, not years, is to choose your warrior correctly. So you can become a Japanese listener, reader, speaker or writer, depending on your goals. And what that basically means is what kind of work you want to do with the language. Now the truth is that you only have a single choice. You can either focus on listening or reading, because there is no speaking if you don't have a strong listening basis first, and there's also no writing if you don't know how the language is written. But today we're gonna focus on becoming a Japanese speaker through listening, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly why that is the best approach. So that was lesson number 1, choosing your warrior. And lesson number 2 is the lie of a balanced approach, and I'm gonna explain it to you through an analogy of 4 pillars of language. Now when you look at Japanese as a language, it is comprised of 4 different pillars as any other language: listening, writing, speaking and reading. Now when you look at what all of these pillars are made of, is the bricks that you use to create them are vocabulary and grammar. But back in the day when languages didn't have a writing system or nobody really knew how to read or write, the languages were tools to communicate, so people interacted verbally. And that's why the whole language is not just vocab and grammar. The most important part of everything is actually listening. Now, to understand why that is the case and why you should only focus really on listening, is to look at how you learned your native language as a kid. So you didn't really write, you didn't really try to speak from day one, from being born, but what you did was you listened all the time, and at some point it clicked for you and you started speaking, you started talking to your parents, to people at kindergarten. And somehow this approach resulted in you speaking a language perfectly. You have all of the understanding. Of course, you introduced reading later on and writing, but at the beginning you got fluent. You spoke like a 5-year-old, but you were fluent. You didn't worry about being judged. You were confident in expressing the stuff that you wanted to say. You have a perfect pronunciation, perfect grammar. You don't make mistakes, and it's because you had this strong kind of basis, the one pillar that holds everything together, which is listening. Now, why the traditional approach is bad and why you didn't learn languages properly at school, and why you fail learning Japanese up until this point, is that the lie of a balanced approach of using all of these pillars was keeping you stuck. So let's look at how usually language textbooks are constructed. You have a page introducing a new topic, unit number 5 for example, and then you have a couple exercises. First you do listening, maybe speaking with your partner, writing a little bit of an essay or just answering questions, reading like a story and answering questions based on that, doing grammar, conjugations, translation and fuck knows what, really, learning vocab. And what modern apps use is they actually take this ineffective kind of balanced approach and make it more addictive through the gamification process of these pillars. But have you really seen anybody get fluent in Japanese with just Duolingo? Yeah, you can maybe make some progress in a language like Spanish if you already speak Portuguese, but it's still the people that get the best results are the people that focus only on what actually works, which is listening. Now, the truth is, you've been searching for a perfect language learning app, but you actually have the most powerful one opened right now, right at your fingertips, and it's YouTube. Now, the YouTube's advantage is that you can basically listen to whatever the fuck you want. You're not limited to some weird curriculum. You can search exactly for the topics that interest you, and you get high quality native-like input by real Japanese speakers who speak in a way that normal people actually speak, and not in a way that somebody kind of constructed, tried to recreate the language through some listening exercise or writing in Duolingo or some other kind of for beginners type of material. Now let's talk about how to actually take that and achieve fluency with this approach, because it's not that simple. Many people fail to learn Japanese through even something like watching YouTube and watching really good videos that should be supposed to make them fluent, but they actually take a much longer time to achieve that goal. Now, let me introduce you to the concept of islands of fluency. Let's say that your language learning journey is like a boat trip, like an expedition that you do, like on a pirate ship, and you go and sail through from one island to another, and each island you're supposed to conquer. And what these islands represent is the kind of area of the language which is comprised of a specific amount of vocabulary. So for example, you can sail to the island of daily speech, which is just normal expressions that people use every single day. You can sail to the island of technical Japanese, which is more like advanced stuff that you would learn as an engineer or something like that. And why this concept is important is that to achieve fluency as quickly as possible and to enjoy the language by speaking, you cannot go at every single island at once. You need to sail from one, conquer that one, and go to another. So if you've watched 100 videos about fitness in Japanese, you'll probably be comfortable at a gym. You'll know what exercises are called. You'll be able to ask for a spot at a Japanese gym when you go on a trip there or you go and live there. You'll have no problem interacting in that specific environment. And in my opinion, what I focused on is the daily, day-to-day, real-life speech. Like the most common vocab, the most common expressions, which just resulted in me being really comfortable when I went to Japan, where I was supposed to ask for something at a shop, talk to people on the street, make friends. That is why your confidence in a specific field of Japanese is actually more important than your overall fluency. So you can imagine, if you have conquered one island, you're confident, you're safe there, it's yours now. You're not scared of somebody attacking you or encountering something that you didn't know was there, something surprising you, because now it's your island, you know everything about that island, you know it like the back of your hand. And the truth is that many people, after learning Japanese for years and years and years, going through all the different topics, animals, colors, kind of technical Japanese, anime, like fantasy, everything like that, still are not confident because they haven't mastered even one kind of island. They haven't conquered one island fully. So when they go and visit the island of natural speech, speaking to somebody in Japan, they freeze because they get surprised. There's like a snail there that they didn't know. There's like a quicksand on the island that they didn't know about. So they get stuck, they freeze while they're speaking to somebody. They're not confident. So the correct approach is to learn everything about one specific field of Japanese, conquer one island, and then go to another, then go to another. And that way you actually achieve fluency a lot faster than you would if you just jumped at everything at once. So lesson number 5 is the difference between bullshit and active listening, or immersion. Now there is this misconception of passive listening, passive immersion, where you can basically put something in Japanese like a podcast or a YouTube video and do other things. Now that is effective if you do it correctly, but many people kind of lie to themselves, telling themselves they're immersing, but actually they're not learning anything. Now that happens in a scenario where they either do something that is too distracting. For example, you play video games, you focus on this stimulating stuff that's happening on the screen, and you try to listen to Japanese and count that as immersion. Now, you will not learn virtually anything through doing that. You'll only just waste time and not even focus on the game, and you won't recall anything from Japanese. You can very much so do passive listening while you're on a walk with your dog, while you're cooking, cleaning your house. That is perfectly fine, but when you're doing something also mentally demanding, it'll just result in you getting too distracted to learn anything. The second thing that can happen that will stop you from immersing effectively is that the content that you watch is too difficult for you to understand at that specific moment. Now, that doesn't mean that you should only watch the stuff that you understand. It just means that if you don't put the focus on understanding something actually, if you don't kind of mentally demand it from yourself that you will learn, and you really focus on the stuff that you're watching, you try to kind of guess what specific words mean, you maybe something clicks for you, you're focused on the story, on the anime episode, on the YouTube video, then you will learn, even if you don't feel like it. Just the fact that you're trying to understand is the difference between actually making progress and wasting time just watching stuff mindlessly. You could pretty much be listening to like white noise or some music in English, and you'd learn just about as much Japanese from that as listening without the intention to understand. Now, the single most effective thing that you could listen to understand Japanese and get fluent as quickly as possible is stuff which is a comprehensible input for you. What that means is you can just about guess the meaning of a sentence or of a story of what's happening in the video or in the podcast. Comprehensible input can be achieved through two different means. Now, number one, it is when the visual is so strong that you can guess what the character is speaking about, what the person is talking about. So, for example, if I hold it up and say, pen, this is a pen, you probably can guess what pen means. It's like the thing that I'm holding in my hands. And the other thing is the concept of I+1, which is you understand the whole sentence apart from one word. And for example, you understand it if I say in Japanese, I like using my, and you didn't get that last word. So if I hold it like this and say, I like using my phone, you can pretty much guess, if you know what I like using my means, you can guess that phone is the thing that I've just showed you. So when you've just started learning Japanese, it will be very difficult for you to actually find comprehensible input and to actually find the YouTube videos and stuff like that which is enjoyable for you to watch. Now you can search through YouTube by just typing in Japanese comprehensible input or looking for videos that seem interesting to you, but you can also get my personal help if you want by joining my Japanese IQ program, which again is the link in the description. There I will create a personalized game plan for you which takes you through the entire process of learning Japanese. Japanese listening and immersion and comprehensible input is pretty much the only way to actually get fluent in Japanese in a reasonable amount of time. If you want to learn more about this process, go and watch this video right now where I explain the 4 mistakes that you can make that would stop you from becoming fluent through immersion. Thanks for watching and see ya.